Hello. All right. We are live. We are ready to go. I am ready to go. Unfortunately, I think Truman is ready to go too. Tuesdays are balance. So when we're talking balance, we're talking butt. It's butt centric. So if you joined me yesterday, we did a little hamstrings and glute work and focusing on it. We're coming right back at it today in balance. So when you're standing on one leg, you're working your glute med. So it's not what you're sitting on, but it's kind of on the sides. And because we don't move laterally so much anymore, we potentially don't do as much balance except doing yoga. We don't work those muscles as much and we sit a lot, and that gets them and becomes problems. So we're going to prevent them. That's what you're doing. Lots of prevention today. So you can also think of this as this is not, muscle strength. We don't reach fatigue, but this is certainly muscle endurance. And that is excellent work to be doing right now. So, hey, Flora. So we're going to jump right in. Hey, Jessica. And we're really going to do a comprehensive workout. So I think the nice thing about now is if you've been doing yoga with me, we've been doing it almost every day, or I've been here every day. So my flexibility and mobility has really improved. We're not going to lose that because we're putting some specific other things in, like the hamstrings and glutes yesterday, and the core on Sunday, knees on Sunday, sorry, I think. Core on Sunday, knees we did Saturday. You know how it is today. It's all blurring together. So we've got some other things, shoulders and upper back. We're going to throw in here and there. We'll do a little foam rolling. By the way, tomorrow, no yoga. So I'd love for all of you to come over, though, and do the master class with me. And it's up here. So right now, while I'm doing this live, it's up here. If you click on the image, the banner, it'll take you to the link where you can actually add your email and register. We're talking about schedules and how to balance the, desire for immune boosting. Now we're in week 8. Plus your hormones, plus, any goals that you already had. You had maybe goals of weight loss, or you didn't, but that was 8 weeks ago, and now you've been right next to the pantry and the refrigerator. Now you may have some focus on weight loss. And no matter what, whether it's outside in your own pool or it's walking around your neighborhood, even in northern climates, it's sleeveless weather. And that may be vain. However, that is okay, right? Because here's my belief that it may be vanity that motivates us all, but it is also that you get other benefits like the immune system, like functioning better in life. And that's a win-win-win. So it's codependency at its best, and if it works, it works. So there's that. Hey, Sherry, I owe you like a message, phone call, something. So I know it. And I guess I want to know if you're still here or not. So we're going to jump into this. You're going to work a little bit today. So we're really going to do a comprehensive one, a little bit longer, a little bit stronger, so you'll maintain what you've built doing it more frequently. We'll just do a little more comprehensive one today. So here we go. If you're just joining us for maybe the first time, I want you to realize that there will be quite a bit of shoulder work. So we'll be transitioning from planks to upward and downward facing dog. So you'll be doing a lot of shoulder work. So those of you who get some tension in the upper back and neck, I want you to watch out for that. We can be warming up while I'm talking. So I want you to rock and roll through the feet a little bit. And for those of you who have real shoulder issues, you know who you are. This one is probably not the best, and I hate to send anybody away from exercise, but it doesn't make sense to risk an injury to do something for another body part, right? Or to even for the stress release, that hardly balances out, right? So if we're causing stress to you physically or in a joint, let's not just do that. There's a better thing for you to do, and potentially I would go into the videos, pull up one of the hands-free, shoulder-friendly yoga sessions if this is you, and go there. And we'll see on the flip side, okay? So ground your feet. So you're going to press your feet down into the floor. I want you to feel your heels, really be aware of them for a second here, focus on them. And then while you're keeping those heels down, I want you to put a little pressure on your big toe. And then put put a little pressure on your little toes. So with those 3 points, imagine just a 3-point stool. It's got to have all 3 of them down, or the balance isn't there. But while you're doing that, now you're going to press, stay grounded, and we're going to get taller from that by pushing into the ground. You're coming up and out. But I want you to ease your knees. So give yourself just a little flexion and extension. Try to catch yourself. If you can go back here, the way I'm right now, hyperextended, know who you are. Not everybody can do that, but that is not a talent that we're going to write home about, okay? So it's just a bad habit. You catch yourself doing this more often than not if you're reminded of it, right? So you want to soften your knees a little bit. So you don't want flexion. We don't need to go here, but we need to be unlocked. So find that place in the middle, and sometimes it does help to feel it in both directions. So you know, oh, this is neutral. It's right where you want to be. If you put your hands on your hips, let's just do a little forward and back, right through the pelvis. Draw under, draw back. And here's what's happening. We call this anterior tilt. Your tailbone is back, but the front of your hip is forward, and that's where we're looking at. Anterior tilt, posterior tilt. Anterior tilt, posterior tilt. So this is what I call duck butt, okay? Easy, right? We get it, got a visual. This is John Wayne, right? So it's like, this is how cowboys walk, right? So you don't want to be either one, right? You want to be, again, in neutral. So top of your hip, back of your hip, the top of that, even, both of them parallel to the floor. From there, you've got some soft space in the middle, right? So we're gonna lift your rib cage up and off of that and just lengthen through your side waist. So when you draw those arms up and over your head, what I want you to feel is like you're lifted up and out. I want you to feel a deep stretch here because your feet are going down, your arms are going up. So lift your shoulders up, take a breath, and then exhale, just drop them down. Don't exaggerate too much. So when you're done with those shoulders, dropping them down, the way I want you to feel is like, oh, why haven't I been there all day? Because that feels really good. Not like I'm putting it somewhere, not like I'm holding it somewhere. It just feels like I'm more open across the chest and the shoulders, and it's actually more natural than when I was rounding forward. We can get a real passive tension going here because we're open passively. Those muscles back there are on vacation without you. So we're going to change that. We're going to lift the shoulders, drop open and back. Try not to overdo that and just drop them away. I want you to feel like there's a lot of space between your earlobe and your shoulders, long through the neck. Okay? Now, take those arms up. Deep breath in. Keep stretching up and out. Fingertips are up to the ceiling. And sending your heels down right now. This is when I want you to feel this right here, nice and long. Lift it, lift it, lift it. And then on an exhale, I want you to bend forward. Tailbone is pressing back behind your heels and round your back whenever you need to. Drop your head down so the crown of your head comes to the floor, but most importantly, it's just you're relaxing your neck. Let your neck go. So it's up there holding the weight of the world all day long. Now it doesn't have to. You should be looking kind of through your legs and just letting yourself hang with a soft knee. If you need to, you can bend those knees or straighten them. And what I want you to do here is lengthen and come forward into a spine stretch to the front. So I can put my fingertips on the floor, and I'm better off if I do that than if I keep my hands flat. I can't really take my sternum forward because I'm not that flexible, I guess is the word. But my legs are so long. Are you laughing? Okay. Lengthen forward, and then exhale. The crown of your head comes down. Now, when you come up, if you're a little tight, you need to bend those knees, but flatten the back. So it's either straight legs or bent knees to come up, and then exhale and come back down. Now, I'm going to not cue quite as much. I'm just going to cue the inhales and the exhales, all right? So we're going to do that 3 more times, just this forward fold. what I want you to do is get in the habit of inhaling on your extensions, exhaling on the folds. Just inhale and exhale so that when we're finished and we stop here next time, you're not breathing hard at all. So let's try it. Here we go. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, go deeper. Inhale. And then hands to the heart. Inhale. Then the feet down. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Come all the way back up. Exhale. Inhale, reach up. Exhale. Inhale, forward. Exhale. A little deeper here. And inhale. Bring it all the way up. And exhale. Hands to the heart. Good. Check in. Not breathing heavy. Able to talk to me. Able to stand there with your mouth closed. Breathing just fine. Now, you may notice your heart beating a little bit more because we went down and up. We were moving, not standing still. But you should be very calm. So check in there. Let's try to keep that going. Same start. Adding on. Inhale, reach up. Exhale. Inhale, spine stretch to the front. You're going to exhale, step back, please, into your plank pose. Press your heels back. Your palms are down flat. Soften your elbows. Lengthen forward. Sternum reaches to the front. Take a deep breath in. And then on your exhale, lower down. Make sure that you keep yourself in this nice long line. So I'm going to give you options. You're going to come into an upward facing dog. So if you're a little tight, this is where you're at. Hips are down, tops of the feet down, flat. Sternum reaches forward, and you're working that tailbone down. But my elbows are bent, okay? Feel like you're a little bit warmer than that. You can come up, you've got straight arms, but you're leaning your knees down. Feel like, nope, I got this. You're on the top of the feet, knees are up. Inhale, reach with your sternum and open back. Keep breathing, keep talking. And then I'm going to have you tuck your toes underneath. The options are bring it through your knees and then up to a downward facing dog, or your toes curl under and you're going to use your belly strength to lift up and come directly to downward facing dog. And I won't say that or give both options every time, so I want you to choose your option and know which one is better for you. Press your heels down. Allow your head to drop down. Good, and then I want you to check in with your hands. So pay a little attention to your palms right now. In this first couple of times we go here, we're going to be here a lot transitioning through upward and downward facing dog, but pay attention to the crease of your wrist. You want that parallel to the front of your mat. So you also want to lift up by pushing down. It's like grounding your feet. Push through your hand to lift your hips up. So you're really thinking about elevating from the highest point in your bum right now. Lift that toward the ceiling. Imagine somebody's got a hold of you with a belt, pulling you up, lifting you, and then sink your heels down with that action. So you're getting a good stretch through the backs of your legs. Potentially it's through the back of your calves, or might be your hamstrings. Could be through your Achilles tendon. If you're tight, you can have them elevated a little bit. Toes are wiggling. The point is not where are you or where are your heels, but are you feeling the stretch, right? Are you getting the benefit? Exhale right here. And again, we have to check in with the breath here. This shouldn't be choppy. This is a resting position. Believe it. And on the end of your next exhale, I want you to step forward, right between your hands. Allow your head to drop down. And then inhale and come all the way back up. Reach the fingers together, and then exhale. Bring your hands to the heart. And we'll do that whole thing with the back to the plank and down and up with a flow 3 times. Are you ready? Here we go. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, reach, stepping back on your exhale. Inhale at the top, soften your elbows, press back through your heels, exhale, lower down. Inhale, slide yourself forward into your upward facing dog. Exhale, lift with your belly strength. Come into your downward facing dog. Send those heels down into the floor. So we'll take a little rest here always. Open up that whole hand. Index finger and thumb are the place you need to check in. Make sure you're still lifting the hips up, pressing the hands and the feet both down. Wiggle your toes if you can, waking up the front of your shins. On the end of your next exhale, step forward, right between your hands, drop the head down, and then on an inhale, come all the way back up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Inhale, we come up. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, reach to the front. And then exhale, step back into that plank pose. I want you to inhale here. We're going to take a little bit longer. So we inhale, pressing back into your heels. Exhale as you lower down. Inhale. Come into your upward facing dog. Press with your feet, pull with your hands. And then exhale into your downward facing dog. Feet come in. Send those heels down into the floor. Lift your hips high. Allow your head to fall down so that your ears are really right between your hands. Index finger and thumbs. Check to make sure the crease of your wrist is parallel to the mat. You want to imagine, keep some life here in this arm. So imagine your biceps and triceps kind of spiraling around. So you're not allowing those elbows to lock. That's another place you can easily do it. On the end of your exhale, step forward with your both feet right between your hands. Allow your head to fall down. And then inhale and come up. Exhale, hands to the heart. And inhale, take the arms up. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, reach to the front. And exhale, step back. Press back through your heels. And exhale, lower down. Inhale, come into your upward facing dog. Press through the feet, pull with the hands. And then on an exhale, curl the toes under. Send your heels down into the floor. Lift your hips high. And exhale. Good. From right here, we're going to go into our first balance pose. So I'm going to go away from you first. I'll come toward you last. So my left hand is going to move in between where both of them were. And then I'm going to rotate. That'll put my feet into scissors. So it's like they're on a balance beam. What I want you to do is to try to lift those hips. Press them up toward the ceiling so that you're really feeling the work through the sideways underneath you. Lift up and open back. Lift the chest. Press through that hand. Keep pushing. Make sure your elbow here is slightly bent as well, not locked. Inhale and exhale. You're in a holding position, but you're not holding your breath. And then bring this hand back down. Inhale at the top. Push back through the heels once again. Exhale, lower. Inhale. Pushing up into upward facing dog. On your exhale, belly strength lifts you. Take this right hand halfway in. Lift and reach. Arms up. Raise those hips. Lift high. You're going to open this hand. Stay right there. Now keep breathing for me. Inhale. Exhale. Raise the hips up. Inhale. And exhale. One more time, inhale. And exhale. Take this hand. Go ahead and bring it in. Palms are flat. Push back through your heels. Lower down. And inhale. Come to upward facing dog. Press with the tops of your feet. And lift through the hips. Drop those feet in. Send your heels down into the floor. Lift through the hips higher, and then send your heels down into the floor. Wiggle your toes a little bit. Allow your head to drop down. Keep your breathing nice and even. If it's gotten choppy, just take another breath or two. Breathe out. And on the next exhale, at the end of it, I want you to step forward with both feet right between your hands. Allow your forehead to drop down. And then on an inhale, we're going to drop the hips, coming into chair pose as you take the arms up. And then check in with those arms. So I always like to have you drop them out of the way just for a second so you can focus. Much more important here that we get your knees comfortable, protect them, making sure that your weight's back on your heels. So sit back a little bit more. You're going to feel potentially a little bit vulnerable, a little bit wobbly. If you're used to going forward, I want you to bring them back. Imagine your toes are against a wall. Your knees then obviously can't go further forward than that. They could go up to it, but not beyond it. So as you sit back here, the weight would be in your glutes, a little bit of quadriceps, but really not in your knees. You are bent, but the weight is here, okay? If you can raise the arms, raise them a little higher than the shoulders, go ahead. I want you to try to drop your hips down a little bit. Good, and relax. Take those hands down. Good, release the weight of the head down. I'm going to have you come all the way up. Inhale. And exhale. Good, nice job. Now from here, we're going to come into a chair pose. We're going to bring that back into prayer balancing pose. So being ready, we'll be stepping back. We're going to develop a little heat in those legs and get into the glutes, opening up the groin a little bit with this first lower body balance. Inhale. And then bring your hands together. So you've got a little prayer going on here. I'm going to rotate toward you, taking the outside of my right arm and the outside of my left leg. And then once I've got that, I'm going to use that as leverage to lengthen my spine. But so what I want you to pay attention to, your focal point. If you're not comfortable, it can be down. Just keep it there. You don't have to look to the side. And there is some benefit to looking down. So if I look out to the side, I'm likely to shift my knees. And I don't want that back knee to move forward. I want to keep them level and even, and I want to rotate my back. So we're wanting that rotation for the spine. Now, hand in the small of your back if you need it. I'm going to move this back. Nice and easy, but quick. And then the hand comes back up. So use that elbow again as leverage. So lengthen through the spine. You want to be long here, not hanging out over that knee. Push back through your heel. Allow your hips to drop. Good. Inhale and exhale. I know, it's a little sticky. It's a little challenging. Weight on the heel. Press back, straighten that leg. Good. Deep breath in. And exhale. Good. Allow your hands to come down on either side of that leg. You're going to slide this back leg back a little further and then drop down to the knee. Just everybody. Top of the foot comes down. Good. Lean into it a little bit so you can actually put weight on that foot if it bothers your knee to be down. I'm going to move that front foot over, walking it over to the other side of the mat. So it's my left leg, walking over to the right. And then I'm going to sit down in it and on it. So as I do that, it would be easy for me to kind of roll on over to the side, especially if your hip is tight. as is mine. Top of the knee goes down, top of the foot goes down on that back leg. Try to keep your thigh pointed down. That leg kind of wants to roll out. So all of us, our whole body wants to rotate out. If you need to fight it a little bit, then make sure you're conscious of that. What I want you to do from here is lengthen forward. Take your sternum forward and in front of you. Keep those shoulders out of the deal. They're relaxed. Your neck is released. So with that long stretch, now take your forehead down. You can place it on the back of your hands and then breathe. So gravity right now is doing all the work. You are not. So what I want you to try to do is relax the legs, relax the muscles, and fully kind of soak in and commit. Just let your weight go down. So without even realizing it, you may still be bracing, holding yourself a little bit, trying to assume a posture, stay in a position, and this is the time to just let gravity do the work here. Let gravity do the pull, so let go of your shoulders even. And as you exhale, you're feeling potentially some tension come out of your hips. We store a lot of tension in our hips, especially if you're doing a little bit more walking these days. You're doing a little bit more yoga posing, maybe because you came yesterday and you did a little bit more hamstring glute work, which is good for you. But you still may feel that work, and this especially kind of on the outside and deeper in the hip hits your piriformis. So it's a pigeon pose known as pigeon. We do it sometimes on the back, and I call it the number 4 stretch. Toes curl under. We're going to move that foot out of your way. Press through both feet and just kind of regroup, see how you're feeling. And on the exhale, lower down. Inhale, lifting up, sternum comes forward. And then exhale, raise your hips. Bring them back in. Good, now ordinarily, I've been turning away or turning so that I'm doing the other side and my voice goes to you. I'm gonna continue on this side so that you can see what it looks like from the back. So my voice is probably gonna fade just a little bit, all right? So I'll try to be conscious of that and turn my head. But I want you to step forward, feet right between your hands. Allow your head to come down. And on an inhale, I want you to sweep the arms up and drop the hips down, coming into chair pose on the other side. So I want you to check in all the points. Weight back behind your toes so that the knees are safe. Weights on the heels. The toes are there. They should be there for balance. We're going to bring the hands into prayer, and then I'm going to rotate my left arm on the outside of my right knee for leverage. I'm going to keep my head down, so that'll help my voice travel to you a little bit better. But just also remember, I'm able to see what my knees are doing and not let one jut out in front of the other. Keep the weight on the heels here. I'm going to take this hand to the small of my back and just move back. Now, for anybody who's struggling right here, you can drop this back knee down, but don't go there yet, right? If you can, I want you to stay up as long as you can. You never know until you try, right? So lengthen the spine, push back through the heels. So you want to get as long as possible. And then you want to drop your hips down. So we're really opening up through the groin. So you can turn to the side or not, but do rotate, okay? Keep rotating. Try not to lay on that leg, but lift it, rotate it, lift and rotate. And then bring both hands down. On either side of the foot, you can slide that foot back a little bit more. And then the foot comes down on that leg. Remember, pressing the weight onto it if you need to. I'm going to move my right foot over now toward my left. Just crawling it over. And then I'm supporting myself while I'm bringing it down. Coming down onto my forearms, consciously trying to keep an eye and a feel on this back leg. So if we're tight, really tight, that top of the foot and the knee is going to want to turn out and roll over. the more you can, you're getting onto this hip, the more you'll be able to point that knee down, point the toes down, top of your thigh down to the mat rather than out. So just know that's what you're striving for. You don't have to get there today. Remember, the biggest point is, are you feeling the stretch? Okay? Doesn't matter what it looks like. Feeling it in the right place, not feeling it in the wrong place. That's what you're after. Lengthen your sternum forward. Take a deep breath in. And then exhale. Good. And allow your head to come down, releasing it. Take another deep breath in. And exhale. Good. Check in. Check in with your neck, your shoulders, and relax. Allow yourself to sink into the mat. Allow this back leg to let go. So if you've been trying to force that back leg, knee down, thigh down, you can let go of that. Take one long, lengthen forward. So take another lift, take your sternum to the front, stretch through that hip, and then exhale and come down. And then last time, I'm going to have you bring this one up. Palms are even. Take that toe, curl it under, back leg comes up. Move this one out of your way. You're going to bring your hands in, inhale right here, and then exhale and lower down. Inhale, come into an outward facing dog. Feet flat. Exhale, lift up. Send your feet and heels particularly down into the floor with the strength of your hands pressing into the mat and your upper body. Exhale, allow the weight of your head to fall down. Use this as a resting spot and just find your comfort level here. While we're here, let's open up the hamstrings and the glutes just a little bit further by, no matter what, if your heels are down, that's okay. I want you to lift them up about an inch. And then I want you to bend your knees, just kind of you're crouching down, squatting down a little bit. Now from here, tip your tailbone up. You may not feel like you move the hips at all, but see if you can bring your tailbone toward the ceiling. And now hold it there, and then press your heels down into the floor from that. So that may give you just a little wake-up call, a little stretch through the calf that's a little bit more aggressive than where you were, right? This is literally downward dog, isn't it? Precious. Okay. I'm going to remember this someday, so, right? You're going to exhale, step forward. Feet right between your hands. Drop your head down. And then I'm going to have you separate your feet about a foot. Come over. Very good. Right? I think you knew I was messing with it, you think? I'm going to have you take your hands behind your back. I want you to clasp them together. And then I want you to lift them up and back. So we're going to open those shoulders. From that side shoulder stand that we did a little earlier, we've got them open, we've got them warm, we followed that with lots of upward and downward facing dog. And here's the thing, once we've contracted those arms and upper body, they're ready and right for a stretch. But I want you to lift up and reach forward. Lift up and reach forward. Exhale, come into straight legs if you can. Keep yourself slightly bent if you need to. And then relax. Go ahead and drop your hands down to the mat and just let them hang for a second. So we need a little blood flow back in there. And then soften your knees, please. And on this one, I want you to round the back, roll, articulate if you can, each piece of that spine as you come up. Bring your feet back together. I'm going to take my hands together over my head. I'm going to back up just a tiny bit. There you go. All right, so on this one, I'm going to take my left hand and reach around my right wrist. I'm going to raise my right arm toward the ceiling first. So I'm going to get the length all along this right side. Send that heel down into the floor, reaching the arms up. You keep pulling. Reach that up. I'm going to take him outside. We'll just see what happens. Are you still stretching? That won't last very long. Reach up. And then from here, carry the weight of your head over to the side. So remember, if you go off to the left, your hip should flare to the right. So you want to keep that right hip down. And you're still in a spot, so I'm still talking, right? So you should still be in a spot. You can still breathe or talk. And if you're restricted, I want you to come up a little bit more. So you're just kind of going to this first spot, okay? Take one more long stretch. Stretch, lengthen, lengthen, and then exhale, go a little further. And ideally, you can look up at the ceiling. And then come up and switch arms. Other side. Right wrist is wrapped around my left wrist. I'm going to reach up, or right hand wrapped around my left wrist, reach up, and I'm reaching down. Left hip goes into the floor. My weight is on my right arm, and I'm just carrying it over to the side, just still comfortable. First step is just, okay. Remember, we have to let those muscles, the tendons that react, if we pull too far, we have to let them know we're not going to pull beyond a place that's safe. So right here now, pull a little bit longer, straighter. Deep breath in, and then on the exhale, go a little deeper into the stretch. Send the foot down, make sure your left foot is down if your left arm is on top. Look up at the ceiling if you can. And then lift up. And take the arms up. Fingertips reach to the ceiling. You're going to lift, and then send your hips slightly forward. So watch as I do this. I'm lengthening my pelvis to the front while I open the chest up. And then exhale. And you're going to dive forward for me. Good. And bring it all the way up. Slight bend of the knees if you need to. All the way to the top. Exhale. Bring your hands right into the heart center. Good. Nice job. Stay right here. All right. We're going to move from here. We're going to come into the front of your mat once again, but here we're going to step back and bring this into a triangle. We're going to go into a triangle, then rotated triangle, the little balance on the end. So feet a little bit closer than normal. So what I want you to feel here is, remember, we're anchored between both, but I want you to shift a bit so your weight is in that back hip, so that as you hinge forward, the first place you're going to feel the stretch is right underneath this hamstring and inner thigh. Kind of a blend here because we're in the medial side of the hip, lengthening forward. And then as you come down, we still keep the length that we've got here through the torso. Your hand can come down, and it comes down just to spot on this leg. So fingertips in front, even more ideal. If you have a yoga block, place to put it would be right here, and yet hand on it, but able to pull up, right? So the other arm comes up, lengthen out. So you're pushing through both feet. You're lengthening with this top arm, but you're also reaching with the bottom arm. So I want you to feel the width that you have. Just reach your wings, open it up wide, push the hips back, chest forward, lean in, exhale. Open this top arm a little bit more. And then on your exhale, I want you to come into this airplane right over that front leg. Lengthen forward. This in itself is still a balance. Reaching both. Push back through that front leg. Now my left hand on the outside of my right leg. I'm going to reach this right arm up. And I can keep my eyes on my hand. I can turn them toward the side, the wall, or I can look up at that top thumb, and that's going to be the most challenging. Both legs straight. Lift up and open. So lengthen that spine. I want you to lift that arm up and open. That left hand is pressing on the foot. Use it as leverage to rotate. spine rotation. And then slowly come back into that airplane position. And we're going to fly. Soften that front knee to come forward onto it. You're going to lift the back leg up, and I want you to push the front foot into the floor through the heel. Press and reach through the ball of that back foot. Reach out, keep those fingers long, straighten both legs, and lengthen. Feel the places where you're holding tension, where you don't need to. Can you release it at your jaw, at your shoulders? And then release and let go. Should have felt the glute here, and the glute in this standing leg. All right, from the other side, so that I can turn toward you when I'm doing the triangle. I'll still be turning away when I do the rotating triangle. But what I want you to do is just step back and then hop in a little bit. Lengthen and press your hip back into that back leg. So you really kind of attitude, hinging at the pelvis as you lengthen forward. You're going to feel that stretch first, hamstrings and inner thigh, that front leg. Good, and you're going to take the arm forward and reach. Nice job, and then we'll take this arm down, top arm up. I want you to lift up and rotate. And if you can think of this, I want you to feel like you're spiraling your ribs around the back, reaching your fingertips up, just to make room for your gaze. So as you do the triangle, you can look up at that top thumb, probably very comfortably. Lengthen, open back. And then on an exhale, I want you to come in to this airplane position. Lengthen over the leg, straighten it out. Drop the chin in slightly. And then as we rotate, my right hand on the outside of my left leg, I'm going to be pushing with that one. And I'm going to be reaching with my left. Try to keep both legs straight. Want you to lift up and rotate. Thinking lift up and rotate. Again, a little bit more lift up and rotate. And then very slowly bring it back into that airplane position. Fingertips are back. Sternum reaches to the front. Now I want you to step forward, carrying the weight onto the front leg, lifting that back leg, pressing through the ball of the back foot, lengthening out. Try to keep both hips parallel to the floor. Reach the fingers back, shoulders away from your ears. Weight in the front heel. And then relax. You may not have needed to come down that abruptly. Take your hands in, feet in. Take the arms up. And exhale. And relax. All right, I'm going to bring you into one more balanced pose. So I'm going to have you come in. We'll finish with tree. So I think this one is such a good benchmark because almost every day we've done balanced poses, we've done tree. Not every day have we done the rotated triangle or the shoulders, but if you had trouble before or you noticed you could only come so far with your leg, and now you can do a little bit more. Just notice and observe, where are you? And some days are just different, so give yourself that grace too. All right, so you choose starting position. You can just move that leg up on its own, or as I just did, I helped it. And then once you've got it, I want you to lift your rib cage off of your hips, ground this foot into the floor, and then lift, get a little taller with that action. So you want to lengthen, open, make space, palms up, bring your arms parallel to the floor. Try to move this knee around to the back. And all you're trying to do here is engage the glute as you do it. The arms come up. Drop the shoulders down. Good. Don't hold on through the core. Holding the position is doing enough core. Good. Press the foot against that standing leg. And when you're ready, go ahead and come down. Okay. Other side, equal time. Here we go. Your choice. Just move it up or grab the ankle when you're ready. And if you start and you need to restart, just like that, I shouldn't have planted that seed. That's what you do. You just regroup. You're not late. You're just there at the right time. Push it in. Move that knee to the back to engage the glute here. Push your foot into the floor and then lift from that. You want to feel that you lift your rib cage off of your hips. You just created space, and that's all. Palms up. Take a breath in. You can raise your arms again. Keep your shoulders down. And then relax when you're ready. So if you're still up, you're fine. Take a deep breath in. When you're ready, you're going to peel those hands back in and down. I'm going to bring my hands into my chest. I'm going to bring my dog inside. He's barking. I'm not sure if you can hear that. And then I'll come in and say hello, so don't go away. Okay, you. Good. Oh, endearing to neighbors everywhere. All right. Let's see. Wendy, hello, hello. Hey, Tammy. You're in some kind of shape. Well, am I glad you got here today? I got hit with degenerative disc disease in the neck at 55 and a half and floaters in both eyes at 55. The latter, I mean, is surgery. You are blessed. I am blessed, and we all are. So we all are. Something about your situation has a gem in it. I guarantee you. All the things do. So keep me posted. I want to know if those floaters, if you can have surgery for those and what that entails. Super curious about that. So strength and mobility, super, super important for you. So Tammy, are you able to do some of the balance poses? Keep me posted on that and how I can support you. All right, everybody, tell me how you're feeling. I hope it's good. So I don't know if you experienced this. So I don't know if it was a strange day. It was just me. But actually not having practiced yoga every day, I actually felt better today practicing. So I'd love you to tune in and tell me how you felt about that yourself. So if it was different for you. So I think the last time we practiced together may have been Friday. And then we've done some other things since. So we did knees, we did core, we did glutes and hamstrings yesterday, and then back to yoga again today. So tomorrow, remember, go sign up for the webinar. So if you need to kind of get a little refresher, if you just want to hang out with me because we're not doing yoga, or you want to hang out with me because we're not doing yoga and you can do pigeon pose, I can tell you to switch. We'll go from right to left. All right. So I would also love it. So here's that shameless plea and plug. I depend on all of you for some word of mouth. So invite a friend to come to the webinar, because inevitably you all care about your health and your exercise, your fitness, your after 50 isms. So you also very likely have friends who care. So if you've got anybody who would find it interesting to go down a checklist of what you're doing right now for your movement and immunity, your movement and hormones, and your movement and maybe goals that you've got, and you're not sure how to juggle them all, tomorrow night is the perfect night. So thanks so much. Feeling stretched out. This is good. Padma, very good. Let me know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Was very tight, but it's been a few days. You were tight. Okay. Been a few days for everything. I thought it was going to get cooler here, Cherie, and yet I am like, today's a little bit warmer again. What's up with that? All right, everybody, have a great evening. The link, again, is up above. If you click on the banner, it'll take you to the webinar. I'm preaching to the choir with all of you. You have potentially been in some other things already, But if you've got a friend who needs a little support, please send them my way. And I would appreciate that. They will join us for the master class tomorrow, get the template for planning exercise, and then how to adjust for adrenal fatigue and or for kind of a little bit more stress right now that you may be feeling. All right. Have a great evening.